video, so I'm hitting record. Okay, it's recording. Well, just to make sure. Okay, and then I'll just cut off the beginning part.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Okay, so here we go. Are you ready? Cool.
On.
Okay. Very, very cool. Hey everybody, what is going on? Becky Lewis here from reclusecoaching.com, and we're sitting here with Lindsay. We are talking about Dan Henry's course. Hey, hey.
Hey.
What's up? We love this course, and we are so excited to share and want to highlight what Lindsay's doing with it and where she's going. Just so excited. It's called Funnels and Ads for Entrepreneurs. So Lindsay, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Awesome to have you. Thanks for being on. Very, very cool. So, good stuff. So let me ask you, like, how did you run across Dan's course? Like, and what even sparked you to like click on the first link that you saw or, whatever.
Well, I had been dabbling around in online, entrepreneurship, and, I was struggling to find my way. And, Dan Henry came up. I knew a couple of people who had already joined into his course. I was just watching it for a little while. And then, I seen him, online all offering his webinar. And so I thought, oh, let me watch this. So I got on, I watched his webinar, and just everything that he was providing in his webinar, it's so detailed, and it offers so much value and tools and strategies you can implement without even getting his course, which I thought was like awesome, because
Yeah.
who offers that? Who offers you tools or strategies right off home base to like go in and do make something of this? So after watching the webinar and taking all the strategies that he had to offer, it was like kind of a no-brainer for me, because it was something that I had never seen. Other people aren't offering that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And in the other ventures that I was in prior to taking Dan Henry's course, I was always missing something, and the missing link is always, traffic. And so, traffic and ads, that's what it is. And so I knew that I needed to learn a strong traffic source.
Mhm.
And it just so happens to be that, Dan offered the strategies. It was a no-brainer, and it made sense to me.
Yeah, no, sure, that makes sense. And you said, I remember we were talking, that, like a lot of other people out there, you started out in some network marketing companies or direct sales companies, whatever, and it just like, I hear this so much as a coach, like people just, oh, it doesn't work for me, it didn't work, and I tried this, and I did everything they told me, and it didn't work. Like, everybody thinks that. It's almost, you know what I mean? But it's true. There's stuff out there where, it's just, you don't have all the strategies, like, or, you don't have the right coaching. You don't have, it's just, and now some people are lazy. Some people don't try. Some people don't do the work. Okay. But discounting that, I mean, there's, it's just like you get the right strategies from Dan, I think. And, and that's probably where you were, like, you're sick of the grind and I mean, I want to get out of that, like,
Yeah.
crazy 9 to 5, whatever, so you're trying all this stuff and this, network marketing, and it just doesn't work. And right. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much
Yeah,
where you
that
were.
is exactly what I was going through. And so it was a lot of times hard for me to pitch or like put my offer out there as a network marketer.
Mhm.
And it was very hard to sometimes even describe what the products were that I was actually providing to these people. And
Right.
so when I went through Dan's webinar, and it was easily and clearly put out how you can make this a business
Yeah.
and and make an online presence at the same time,
Right.
and not be scammy and spamming about it. Like, I didn't have to like hound, everybody on every corner. Like,
Right.
there's legitimate people who truly have businesses who need traffic. And so
Right.
I figured if I could learn a good quality traffic source, and a strategy, which is what Dan absolutely puts out,
Yeah.
I knew that I could go out and market myself as an expert, or not even an expert, but just as like a business, like
Right.
a small business to
Right.
a small business, B2B, like, and say, hey, you need me and I need you.
Right.
Let's connect. Let's figure out what I can do for you,
Right.
and and therefore on their end, it's going to be a no-brainer, because if they don't have customers or clients, they don't have a business.
Right.
And so it kind of, like, if your business isn't growing, do you really have a business? I think maybe no. So if I can provide that based off of the strategies that I've learned, it just made no, like, complete sense. Like, it was a no-brainer for me.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, the strategies that you learn are awesome. And the fact that you can learn stuff and actually put things into action from what you learn off the free training. And if your guys are watching this at home, you haven't watched it yet, click the link below. And we'll keep talking a little bit, but after, click the link and watch the webinar, because you'll get so much free stuff you can implement right away without buying anything, which is amazing. The free value that you get just from Dan's free training
yes.
is very, very
Yeah.
cool. So, well, okay, tell me then, you're watching the webinar and you're like, okay, this is good and you're learning and whatever. What pushed you, well, let me ask you, did you buy the course right at the end of the webinar? You're so excited, you're like, this is awesome, or did you wait? Did you have to put the money together, or were you're like, you know what, forget it, here's my credit card, just take it and I am in?
Actually, it's kind of funny. I had been talking about it with my partner, and
Okay.
we've been discussing it and trying to figure out, like, whether it was like something we could jump into all at once, or what was the best choice for us. And crazy enough, one day, like, she had watched the webinar for herself, just to see, like, if that was something that was manageable in our finances.
Sure.
And she actually went ahead and bought the course for me.
Okay.
I mean, we worked together in our finances, so it wasn't like she was buying the course, but, like,
Right.
she surprised me more or less.
Yeah.
With like the course, to say, like, hey, look, I watched it myself and I understand it. It is a completely different aspect than a network marketing company, and I fully support you. So she went ahead and, like, surprised me with the course, and she said, have at it. And so I was super stoked, and I honestly couldn't wait to dive into the course and get going. So it was almost like immediate. As soon as I got access, I went through the first, modules, and the first welcome modules and stuff. And then I think I took a break because it was just like 10 o'clock at night, and so, but from right off the bat, like, I started diving in to absorb all of what he had to offer.
Right. Awesome. So you were excited. I mean, the first time you were like so excited. You're like, this is fantastic. What was it about that training and that webinar and Dan and whatever, how he presented and how he taught, that, like, got you so excited while you were on the webinar? Like, what was it that said, I can really do this? Like, this is real and, like, legit. Like,
well, just that it was, like, one, I saw his charisma, like, his charisma comes out in it, and his storyline, right? Like, we've all had, like, a Pizza Hut job, or, where I'm a pizza boy, or, and that's Dan, and I think anybody in this world, we all started from somewhere. And to think that he started from there, just like the rest of us, and he was able to learn something, implement it, and get results, and be able to coach and train and offer a training to other people to go and do the same thing, and his testimonials show it. And so it was kind of like the free strategies he offered with the testimonials and his background story. It was just, like, so relatable, that, like, it makes sense. It really, people should just, I mean, if they don't see it, like, talk to me, I'll explain how much value's in that webinar. So but that's kind of what it was. Just like, it was very relatable. He offered real solutions, and he made a very quick and simple business plan, or, like, an actual applicable business right out of the gates. And I think that's what a lot of us need.
Yeah. No, I agree. So you're not dabbling around and trying to get your network marketing company to work, and which you can do, obviously, you know what I mean? And I help people do that all the time, but it's like, it's just, if you want a bigger bang for your buck right away, because sometimes it just may not be for you. Like, you're not going to, want to manage a big team of people and different, and be the leader of all these different people coming in, maybe that's not your style. Maybe you just want to go out and be able to get, like a few big clients and keep them and have them pay you $1,000 or $2,000 a month, because that's the going rate. I mean, that's what, Dan teaches to charge people, $3,000, depends on how big your client is, and maybe on the lower end, $500 a month or whatever. But still, for the amount of work, like once you get into it and once you're, you see how easy it is, I think, to set it all up, like it's kind of a no-brainer. You learn the strategies, you learn, you try, you do the Facebook ads, you learn how to set them up and put a quick funnel together. And you'll slog through that maybe a little bit for whatever, your first client, your first couple clients, and then you're like going to be off to the races. I mean, and boom, every client, $1,000 or $500 or $2,000, you get a few clients and quit your job. I mean, it's like,
yes. Yes. And that's exactly it, right? Like it is a business. People do need the strategies that are being taught through his course. And, right. And they're very implementable, like for anyone. And so for me, it was just really like, it made, like I keep saying, like, it just makes sense, because it was something that people genuinely need.
Right.
And like you said, the return is instantaneously. Like, right. You get one client, right. You get two clients, you've already paid back your investment for the course, and, right. And everything from there is profit. And now you just have to work up to get and gain steady clients, right. Who see the value, want the value, because they want to continue to grow their business, and they're willing to put in the money because they know it costs money to continue to stay in business.
Right.
So, and when you find that sweet spot of clients, like, they're going to stay with you, and you, right. Just continue to provide using the tools and strategies, and it's just going to keep going. It's just going to keep flowing. And so that's what I saw in it. And I think that's what has kept me.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And kind of giving you a vision for the future for, where you're going. And yeah, that's awesome. Fantastic. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do I have for you? Okay. So, and we may have already touched on this in a way, but I'll throw it to you in a little bit of a different way. How, from other online courses that you've taken, and buy this and make $50 bajillion overnight or whatever, and and again, some of this you touched on a little bit, but are there any other ways that Dan's course and Dan Henry himself are different from other online gurus that you've seen or bought courses from or whatever, other than maybe the results? So many things I can think of, but what did you find?
Yeah, in regards to like other ventures that I've been in, nothing offers quite the return on investment that I see with Dan's course, and that I think that a lot of his students have experienced with his course. Yeah. A lot of where I was headed, network markets, and MLM companies, like, they sell you the big dream, like the big destination, the whole lifestyle, and we all want that, right? It's right. The American dream. We right. Live in a country that we're all wanting these, the finer things, I guess, in life. Right. And so they make it seem so profitable right away. Yeah. But I mean, the ventures that I was in, they were very high-end tickets. Yeah. And let's face it, in today's world, and the average person's salary, and how much people are in debt, like, I mean, it doesn't make sense that I'm offering such high-end products to people that I know who are just like you and me, and if they're paying $10,000 for a product, that could be their whole life savings, and right. And then there's people who don't even have that. But with Dan's course, I mean, a college student can put it on a credit card, right. and get results and not be in debt, or a business owner who's been in debt, who's struggling to keep his doors open. He can take his last dollar, right. or whatever, $1,000 or a few $1,000s, pay for tools and strategies, and get that return on on investment after implementing the strategies being taught, and keep their doors open and keep, the lights on. And that was like the difference for me for seeing the value and wanting to learn a different aspect of like business or entrepreneurship, versus like a network marketing opportunity, that is really a struggle, one, to get people, for people to even just understand what it is, and then to try and tell them like, hey, look, it's not a pyramid scheme. Like your job is just as much of a pyramid scheme as this MLM company is. But there's no convincing in creating an agency, or in creating your own online business offering, lead generation. There's no convincing that. Whereas like you literally are kind of, I guess, like maybe it's a lack of a better word, but convincing people the value of a network market, where when I put down a business plan for a client, we can use, chiros or dentists as like an example. Like when I put down a business plan to them and say, hey, look, I can offer you this, this, and this, that's going to bring clients through your doors, on a weekly basis, is there value to that for you? And the answer every time is going to be yes. And now if I take that same thing and say, okay, look, here is the structure of the network market. Is this valuable to you? They can never say yes, because they're like, well, I mean, I have to buy, and that's a lot of money, and then there's monthly fees, and can I afford that? And like the list just goes on and on and on, and it's not a no-brainer for people. And so that's what that's what I've been able to grab and create from what I've learned from Dan Henry's course, to create a business, to create, my own lifestyle, and not be spammy, and genuinely help business people, like help small local businesses get what they ultimately need.
Yeah. And, I like the confidence in your voice, just, your body language, everything, it just comes right through. Like you can tell. And and I'm hearing you talk about return on investment, right away, and not having to overcome all those objections that we see a lot of times in network marketing companies. And again, they can be overcome, but a lot of people just don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
No.
A lot of people, it just turns them off. They don't, like you see, it's not like you're saying, it's not a no-brainer for a lot of people because of that, because they to see all these roadblocks right up front, and they get scared off. Whereas with something like Dan's course, you see, man, I mean, I can get a client, I can get $1,000 or $2,000 client, or even a $500 client, like right away, and,
I mean,
and boom,
everyone needs it. Every mom and pop shop on every corner needs it. So if you go into any plaza in any city, every single person, whether it's a clothing shop, a furniture store, a dentist office, a massage therapist, they all need what we have learned and can provide for their businesses. And you can't take other business structures that I've been been open to or like experienced. You can't take those and apply that to people, where with this course it is very let me hand this to you, now let me deliver this to them. And so
exactly. That's that makes so much sense. It's just exciting, you know what I mean, the possibilities.
I mean, it's changed the way I think and the way I see other opportunities. It changed the way that I even see small local businesses. Because a lot of them are struggling, and we think like, oh, they're a doctor, they're they have this practice, or they have this, they own this business. So you don't really, we forget about their personal struggles as a business owner, and what it takes to keep those doors open. We just see like, oh, he's a doctor, so this must be easy, because when really, like, people put off going to the dentist because we think that it's not a necessity. We think it's a luxury, when it's not a luxury, but because we so a lot with that mentality, people don't openly say, and who likes the dentist? Who wants to be drilling in it? You know, like,
Right.
so they really have to say, hey, look, here's, you know, they have to provide something so that people can get in, and without marketing, without someone helping them, they can't run their business and focus on the marketing aspect and continue to deliver to their customers and clients.
Right. And you know, I want to point out too, like, this is, you know, you're taking Dan's course and you're looking at it from a perspective of, I'm going to become, you know, my own, whatever, small, eventually large agency, ad agency, and provide, you know, marketing solutions and advertising for whoever I want to. I can pick and choose my customers if I want, whatever. And Dan teaches us how to do that and what customers to go after.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, from what you've seen in the course, I know from what I've seen, maybe you agree that, you know, yeah, even though, like, you know, in the webinar, he kind of leans that way toward, hey, this is how you can get clients and, you know, run an agency. The actual course, you know, was originally designed for entrepreneurs just wanting to sell their own things. If you have your own product, if maybe you're watching this and you're an online, you know, entrepreneur, you have a book that you want to sell, or an online course, or some kind of informational product, or even a physical product. Like,
Right.
would you agree with that, Lindsay? That, you know,
I
it's
do.
just about driving traffic in general.
Absolutely. It takes us back to, I think, one of our very first questions, your like topics that we've discussed tonight. And so in that, it's literally, right, like I was in other opportunities, but I was lacking a good source of traffic.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that that's what I was lacking.
Yeah.
And you know, like they say in the where I was at, in the opportunities that I was in, they tell you, go to your family and friends. And I'm like,
Yeah.
going to my family and friends? Okay, well, here's these like, what are they, organic ways to generate leads for potential buyers.
Right.
And that sounds great, but when you're offering such a high ticket, like I touched on where I was, and it's almost so hard that I couldn't even explain what I was offering.
Right.
You know, like, and I remove myself and I look at the bigger picture, it's easy to say like, okay, well, this really isn't working because I have a poor system to generate leads.
Right.
And so when I was, you know, I always kind of heard about paid traffic, and everyone's like, oh, paid traffic, because we're scared because we're already invested and we're on a tight budget. But I mean, if you don't, I mean, you have to remove that veil of like fear of spending.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise you're never going to do it or make anything of it. And so like, I always kind of stayed away from like paid advertisement because I thought, oh, I don't want to pay any more than I already am. And that was like a poor mindset that I had.
Right.
And so when I was shown Dan's course through his webinar, and like I said, and I got those strategies immediately, some that I could literally just get off the webinar, go to Facebook or go to, you know, my blog or whatever source it was, YouTube or whatever avenue you're using.
Mm-hmm.
And I could simply use, you know, his case studies or his curious students, or, you know, his different ways, his different strategies to bring in people. It was like, oh, well, cool. Like, let me go test this.
Yeah.
And if you go and you test it and you get that result and you're like, whoa, really? That's all it took?
Yeah.
Man, I've been doing this, or, you know, people have been trying so many different things for ages, and like, they're not getting the results, or they're not getting the retention that they need. But then you just go and try a free strategy based off of, right, and to even attain clients. Like, it's really like, you're like, whoa, okay, well, this, what else is behind closed doors?
Right.
What else is behind closed doors? Because if this gets, you know, if this gets this much attention, what is behind closed doors? What is he offering? What strategies is he offering to give you that traffic, to give you that? And so being in different opportunities prior to like experiencing Dan's course, I always felt like something was missing.
Yeah.
And so when I went through all of dance course modules and I was seeing everything as a whole in the way he presented it, and I was able to put the pieces of the puzzle that together
Yes.
to really understand every business opportunity, whether it's an MLM, network marketing, a private business, or an agency, advertising agency. It made a full circle for
Yeah.
me, at least, in what he was showing and what the course offered, and in my previous experience. And you don't even have to have previous experience when you're going, when you're going through dance course, because the way he lays out everything in his course is really systematically, and it's step by step, like, okay, this is what you need, this is what you have to learn, so that you can go and do A. And
Yeah.
then when you get A, you can't stop there. You have to do B. And
Yeah.
so his course is very systematic. For me, it was all played out,
Yeah.
and it just kind of came together.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. It just came together. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of other people feel the same way. And that's great. Well, hey,
Yeah.
if you're watching this at home and you haven't watched the free webinar, go ahead and do that. There should be a link either below this video, above this video, somewhere, maybe in the description. Click it, get more information. It'll probably take you to the webinar. I'm going to see how I have it set up, and how I want to set it up depending on where I put this video. You may be seeing it in a couple different spots.
Yeah.
Link, watch the webinar, pick up the course, and we will see you inside in the Facebook group. Does that sound good, Lindsay?
It's awesome. You won't be disappointed. So click that link.
Very cool. Very cool. Sounds good. And yeah, we will see you guys. Take care.
All
Lindsay,
right.
thanks for being on.
Bye. Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Sure. Yep.